Most mediums in fiction are limited, for better or for worse. It's rare for a good book to produce sound or animated visuals. It's rare for music to have interactive elements in it that you can change. Video games are the ultimate medium, as all forms of entertainment can be mastered and combined into one. The interactivity of video games should be utilized to make the experience better, and this trend follows into most video games I play. Until they're not, because the interactive elements here actively ruin this game. Square Enix's Shattered Diamond in 2021. They released the special remaster, the special version 1.224744871396766 shit for real one and only Nier Replicant. This game is known for having an insane narrative that flips itself on its head multiple times, and to that I agree. However, as mentioned earlier, and I mean in the most nicest, sincerest, and most positive way, this game should not have been a game, because everything that's not related to the interactive elements is so good, it only makes the gameplay more incongruent with the quality imbalance. So, why do I think this? Well, let's begin. We open up with snow and summer, a bizarre, striking, cold, and overrated soundtrack. Top one of the series, where we get to see, Nier Guy. More on him later. All we know is that he hates this book and he wants to protect his sister, named Yona Ark. After Nier gets the beats on him, no Dre with heavy bass, and is back against the wall, he uses the black book.
Yona. Stay away from my sister.
Here, we learn the basics of combat, granting us access to different types of dark magic. Dark Blast, Dark Holes, Dark Souls, and it's a decent time, you know, clearing out stuff. By the end of this, you get a decent feel for the combat before finding out your sister has AIDS.
Hey, by the way, look at this.
Wow, is that a cookie?
Here, we can split it.
No, you take it.
No, you need to eat too. I didn't mean to.
Yona, please, somebody, we need help. Help us!
Realizing your helplessness, you cry out for help only to no avail. Overall, this very strong opener is set, and I really like how bleak the opening is made to be. Why is it snowing in summer? The lonely, desperate, cold cries of our main characters after being attacked by inhuman creatures really makes it feel like the story is going to be a doom and gloom one.
All right, I'm heading out.
So, about that doom and gloom? Welcome to Peaches and Creamville, where we play as Nier Bro. Who's the last guy? Doesn't matter. Who cares? Meet Yona. Here, we play as Twink Nier, not Chad Nier, which I prefer. Here, we are instructed to head over to Popola, the Popolust, because hot damn, she draws some form of lust out of me. Yeah, so this is our mentor figure in the story, and she tells us to do mostly menial tasks around the village, like grab medicinal herbs for her, the primary healing item in the game, or farm sheep. Throughout the early stages of the game, the first thing that really stood out was holy fuck. That soundtrack is slapping. Every time you walk near Popola's sister Devila, she sings with such harmonious and enchanting vocals. Whenever you go to the northern plains, the hills of Radio Winds plays, and man, there couldn't have been a better track to complement the dreamy, surreal fantasy setting. Everywhere you go in this game, it's always matched with a perfectly curated soundtrack that accentuates the atmosphere of the junk heap, having a tight and unraveling track that envelops the unending corridors and waves of machines you clear out. The peaceful, long strings of the Facade, with such enchanting vocals that helps us to emulate the feeling of another civilization so well. The insanely tragic, sorrowful vocals, complemented by the lone piano of Kaine's theme, yet despite that portraying such a strong feeling of salvation. I could endlessly yap about every motherfucking track of this entire game, because it's the greatest ever! Oh yeah, and did I mention that it's in its own unique language? Straight up, they created a new language just to complement the atmosphere of the world. The language of the world isn't something you cannot understand, and the soundtrack speaks said language. What fucking other game does that?
Well, actually, this is not a real language. There's no phonetic, grammar, syntax, and established vocabulary.
Shut up! Eventually, you inform your sick sister that if you guys got a special flower called the Lunatia, you could become rich. Yona, enticed by the thought of it, dips out like the sneaky little girl she is searching for it. Our main character, who's her brother, feels very concerned. Quick little chat with Popola tells us that she ran out to the Lost Shrine, a dangerous area all the way out of the eastern plains of our village. Out to the Lost Shrine we head, and we're introduced to real danger now. One thing I think is interesting is the advanced technology of broken skyscrapers and what seems to be a sewage system nearby us. If this is the case, then why are we stuck with such primitive technology? Avalanches and tight bridges are the warm-up, but shades, the main enemies of the game, senseless bozos with no greater depth other than attack fodders, are grouped up in small areas, and heavy blocks you need to push out of the way present itself as our main challenges. Our optimistic, bright-shouldered MC, Ass Goody Two Shoes, believes that she, somehow, made it all the way through this safely. Really, I don't got no much to talk about, yo. The area's just alright. Reaching the top of the Lost Shrine contains Yona, who's guarded by Redstein and Blow, followed by some shade fodder. My question before we even get here is how the fuck Yona managed to get here? Her ass runs through the avalanche, through 50 bazillion ladders and more waves of enemies than at any game Plants vs. Zombies level, and moved this heavy ass bombs, and she did it in like 2 minutes. You telling me this severely debilitated, bedridden, geriatric, decaying little girl got faster than a combat-trained twink? Aside from that plot contrivance, we clear out the shades and meet our best bud, Weiss. This book has an ego that's larger than every Souls elitist combined. Here we relentlessly pound the book like a little bitch to get him free from Redstein and Blow, as he helps us by the forces of, I don't know, he's our friend now, to defeat the gang in front of us. Redstein and Blow kinds of blow. They're kind of like punching bags with red stains when you hit them on the floor. Yeah, I don't know. They're a pretty basic fight with like 3 attacks, and that's it. No, I'm serious. Like up close, they have 1 attack pretty much. Gameplay isn't this game's strong suit. Spoiler alert. Oh, maybe I should have said that before. Anyways, after drilling both of their cheeks in, we rescue Yona, and it's never questioned again on how she got there. Who knows? Maybe she was just motivated. Once we leave, Yona faints, and Weiss tells us that Yona's cooked. Well, not really, but she's got the black scrawl, and a fatal case of it at that, and we desperately need a way to cure it. Talking to Devila out of curiosity, probably because her singing is so damn sweet, and she lets us know that Weiss is actually something of a legend. The Song of the Ancients, you know, the song I'm glazing in this video. Yeah, since it's in a forgotten language, Devila only knows bits and pieces of its translation. We ask her sister Popola to decipher the song, as she's a book-smart girl, and it details the tale of how the Shadow Lord comes along with a black book, and launches diseases and despair across the world. But then, 3 dudes come in with a white book, and kills him, utilizing all of the sealed verses. With this goal in mind of our main character, he's determined to kill all of the large shades around the world, because there's a high chance that they can contain the sealed verses necessary to cure the Black Scroll. Our first stop being, the area is a gloomy and depressing town, where people are gloomy and depressed in a town. After eagerly being told that this is a waste of time,
Who's there?
Well, we're...
Be calm, strangers.
Wait, listen to...
Enough. Leave this village at once and never return.
That's a pathetic bunch of rabble.
And pretty much being shooed out of the village with no shades in sight, we dip. Our shonen lighthearted goody two-shoes ass MC finds some lunar tears along the way. And considering that impudence is the root in this family tree, we hit a bit of a devious lick before being stopped by this guy named Kaine. And this fight is well, about as good as the last one. Really basic. Like, there is basically nothing here mechanically. After we slap Kaine around like Jigglypuff at Smash Bros, we meet Jigglytits. His real name is Hook. Kaine really lets loose with that foul language here.
I'm gonna pull out your teeth and climb them up your ass! Fucking thing, you shitty little ass grabber. Fucking hell. Fuck off and die, book. Fuck off and die, you pervy little shit!
At first, it really did turn me off as a character cursing the curse to be overly edgy. But I warmed up to it over time, considering how generic a lot of the other dialogue is in the game. I like how this boss incentivizes jumping to optimally avoid his slams, and has some summons to help in the fight, but he doesn't overlap his own attacks with them, so I think it's fine, unlike another shitty finger boss at level 1. Kaine saves us, but in the process takes a fatal wound, and after dealing with Hook, Kaine seems... chill?
Now get the hell out of here.
I guess she's as tough as her language is. Apparently, we're kinda on good terms now. Shit, I mean, we haven't done shit for her, but I guess it's better than being on thief status. By beating up Hook, we get a sealed verse, and returning back home, we talk to Popola, who tells us that we can catch a fish to alleviate Yona's pain as it's spiked up. Being the yes man to whatever Yona's health is, we head out to one of my favorite areas in the game. The seafront is a lively and peaceful sea front. Brisk winds blow by our direction as the once again stellar OST puts in that work, really honing in that atmosphere. It's the only game where I don't find fishing boring because the soundtrack is just that damn good. Besides the goat, of course. When we get the fish and leave, an old woman is put into the story and straight up insults your ass.
How can you just ignore an old woman in need?
Straight up high roasting, high side, lighting your ass up.
Hold it! How?
Hey young man, you need to listen to your elders with Sengun dressing ass.
My illness.
Twinkie, twinkie, little star ass pants having ass boy. If you don't get your lame ass limbs patch less update built ass boy. Medieval hot topic shoes, two-dimensional geometry dash feet ass boy. One Direction sounding ass boy. Harry Styles gorilla fashion head ass boy. Okay, maybe I exaggerated that a little, but the bottom line here is that she's rude. Weiss and the lady have this fun little back and forth.
You did.
Why, you insolent crone?
Before the old lady complains in pain. You get the option to help her out here, and I really don't like how the game does what it does here. When Yona is in pain and you have the cure for it being a fish, there is zero reason why the main character would ever prioritize helping out this old lady she just met, who frankly insulted him and his friend basically off rip. Hell, our main character even said at the beginning of the game,
And my only goal is to ensure that the two of us survive. That the two of us survive. That the two of us survive.
so the game blatantly pushing this lady up upon you kind of contradicts the main character's morals. I believe you can decline this. However, we're gonna take it up anyway because I'm doing all quest lines. This shit was us! After heading back and alleviating Yona's pain pretty significantly, we're told to head down to the junk heap so that we can upgrade our weapon since the area is being raided with shades and we never finished Hook the first time. Big trees require big axes to take down. We head into the junk heap to find Jacob and Sir Gideon Offney. Oh wait, wrong game. Hey, at least this one has no input. Yeah, so while we discuss the process of upgrading my weapon, Gideon comes out complaining about their mother being gone for a while, which does raise some eyebrows. Being the goody two-shoes we are, we handle their problems for them and head down to the dangerous junk heap. The junk heap is paired along with this fantastic, tight, suffocating atmosphere, So tight, it feels like I'm being drained every time I go there. No, seriously, they killed that shit so hard, I never want to return. My ass never wants to return. Like, actually, I feel so drained of the game every time I go in. The samey looking enemies and hallways of this area makes it feel like I'm stuck in an inception of the same 3 rooms on loop. The area itself is pretty basic as one of the first real combat zones of the game. However, the most notable thing I think is interesting here is the advanced technology of the junkyard. Robots firing electro beams and elevators and all this other stuff seems pretty damn modern, if not futuristic. If this is the case, why are we stuck with such primitive technology? Once we clear it out, we get to the bottom where we fight Geppetto. Outside of his let yourself be crushed 3 attacks, he has summons which I would normally complain about, but they die so quickly I can't even really complain much. You can throw bombs into its mouth and shoot the missiles as they come at you, which is cool I guess. Overall, nothing noteworthy, but at least we get another sealed verse out of it. By the end, we finally find their mom, who has passed on. We find that she was laying with another man, indicating that the stress of having to take care of her 2 sons by herself in such a brutal environment like the junk heap made her want to run away with someone who would provide a better life. This was the first point in Nier Replicant where it really hit me emotionally. The situation presented is just one example of how the game presents its cruel world to the player. Heading back to the brothers, we have 2 options here. Tell them the honest truth or lie to them. My policy is always to be honest because I think it's best if they live with reality. I don't know if this really changes anything that happens in the plot, but generally I think it doesn't really matter for me. Giving players such a heavy choice like that is enough to bring me that emotional draw from me. Gideon straight up denies it and sticks to the belief that his mom is still alive, being a naive child. Yet Jacob accepts it and takes it on the chin like the responsible and mature older brother that he is. Leaving the junk heap the first time after this encounter had me on the waves, but I had to remember that you can't get caught up in someone else's story. Prime importance must be placed on Yona, so me as the player and as a main character decide to move on, focusing on our purpose. After upgrading our weapon, we head out to the Airy to air out the array of trash known as Hook and his gang of shades. Kaine's situation seems pretty dire as she's trying to hold off this 1v1. Now, you see, Hook 2.0 is a massive upgrade from the original Hook. Here, he has a set of hand slams, and well, yeah, he's just kinda the same boss. The progression of the boss is different at least, jumping through the entire area, tracking down the boss. I really like how the boss's mechanics here are utilized throughout the level to fully distinguish him from the original. Proceeding to the final stage of the fight allows Hook to blast some funny sleeping gas to help remind Kaine of her problems. Hook tries to manipulate her, and then she says, nah, fuck that, I want that to help overpower the boss. With Giant A. Jones on our side, we beat up Hooko, and I just gotta say, this game is not cool, man. Straight up, a lot of these finishers feel so anime. And not the cool type of anime, like the generic, slow motion, corny, lame kind of finish. Like, this game knows how to be cool, it can be cool, but it rarely does that for some reason. Not that I was expecting Brother Nier to whip out a
I finally found what I was looking for. A place where I can be without.
But come on now, we could do better than that. After receiving a sealed verse from killing Hook, Kaine lays down intending to perish before we tell her not to give up on life. Initially, it seemed pretty weird why she's so quick to switch from chosen death to survival, but with some added context of Route B, where Kaine's grandma, aka the character closest to hers, final wishes was for her to live. Considering that we're friends now,
He's right. Kaine, we're friends now.
we inform her of our sister who has the Black Scroll, and she's the reason why we do everything we do. Kaine does know of a kingdom nearby that had a king suffer from the Black Scroll, and considering, you know, it's a kingdom, they might as well have more resources than we do, so we hit a stroll through the desert. On our way there, we find some wolves who are pretty hostile to us. Pretty damn lame. Exploring the Facade is pretty cool. It's a peaceful little town with some fantastic music, because why wouldn't it? This is Nier Replicant, the greatest soundtrack ever, as you take a tour through it. This town is run with stupid rules. It's like if every shitty one-note JoJo stands rules were the laws of the country. Rule number 328,000,147,000.676. You cannot talk to women after touching your toes after drinking an iced coffee on Wednesdays. And guess what? It's not Wednesday. It's the day before Thursday. We learn that the Prince of the Kingdom is lost in a nearby temple. So we head out with this lady named Fira, who can help guide us through the sandstorm. Guarding the temple, the wolves attacked us first, which is pretty damn lame. Actually stepping into the temple is a ways away, the best level in the entire game. Go in with puzzles about how you can't jump or run, or can't roll, so you need to creatively find ways around it, using attacks to cancel the shooters, utilizing stuff like positioning, free cam aiming, using the attacks on your weapon to gain more airtime, using your attacks to cancel the attacks beneath you, etc. I like the camera switching and the platforming where you need to act quickly. They keep switching it up for more and more creative plays. And while after the first room where you need to destroy the balls with your weapon can be abused a tiny bit, but really it doesn't really affect the level, and overall speaking, it is great stuff. A full use of the player's mechanics to make the level more fun is exactly what I had hoped in more video games. The fight room that disables your dodging is cool, but isn't utilized well enough in my opinion. It does add to the level, but it should have been harder. You can mash through them all, and I think the enemy should have attacks that have forced you to parry or jump, which would have made the level much more engaging. Sharia is cool. And yeah, the boss has a name. Sharia, whatever the hell this guy's name is pretty cool. I have zero idea where this is stated. I just stole this off the wiki. But I like the creative use of the basic shooters that go into one giant stage. Him forming into a being and fighting you, and the uses of it are pretty creative. Avoiding the balls while shooting back is pretty enjoyable gameplay despite being so simple. I like the jumping involved while wrestling the projectiles to punish the hands. I'm a little bit of a sucker for externals. Pretty simple fight with some creative stuff in it. I'd give it a mid-B. With our new sealed verse in hand for finishing the boss, the prince is saved, and he's happy to find Majora's Mask, enabling the majority of Facade members to majorly consider him the king. Yeah, okay, I'll stop with that. That's just terrible. Why am I doing that? It's tearing the video spacing apart for being terrific into terrorist tier terrain that only extra special terrestrials made a terracotta want to watch. One thing I think is very interesting is a strange thing stored in the Facade. Proof of the modern world is very weird, with stop signs and stuff like that is definitely bizarre. The result of this journey is the Facade support. Their king fell victim to the Black Scrawl yet, and they weren't able to cure it, so I guess his two similar victims will work together in the future. Also, how come we do all that and our debts aren't repaid? Returning to Yona allows us to stay with her as we drift to sleep. Hey, what? Get out of my head, you lazy game designer! Quit trying to get your text-based adventures out of my baby button mash slop. We wake up talking to Popola about what the fuck just happened, and it turns out that there's a civilization nearby called the Forest of Myth. They've got something to do with this weird, odd dream sequence stuff, so we check them out. And I mean this in the most absolutely positive way. This is one of the cheapest parts of the entire game, but ironically, one of my favorite parts of it. Speaking to the village chief allows us to get trapped in his dream, as he's stuck with a disease, along with this whole village as they are trapped in their dreams and can't get out. As we get sucked into it, Weiss hilariously tries to fight it off.
It is not quizzical, ridiculous, preposterous, completely unfathomable on every conceivable level.
That's just how the death dream worked.
My remarks are not to be brushed aside, fool. Grimoire Weiss does not engage in meaningless conversation. It does not seem to sting my pride, you bloated gasbag of a narrator.
What can I say? My man's his peak dialogue. At first, I hated the slow pacing, but ironically, the lack of visuals with just white text on the black screen with calming music made it insanely immersive to play through. It's pretty clear that this is low budget, but said low budget really made this section stand out. The strong writing and perfectly accompanied changing soundtracks that suit you as you go through the story is quite nice. The actual subplot itself isn't really anything too great. This guy is trapped in his own dream and we force him to imagine a way out. Yeah, no idea how this bozo didn't think of that earlier. Maybe he should have imagined a smarter brain. And we're released. Clearing out the rest of the village, or 2 other people, is the entire village somehow, has us involved in their stories. While I do like the initial story with the chief, I think the other 2 stink a bit more. The lady is cool, as you need to find out the statues that separate them. The third guy though. Why can the Forest of Myth kill you without warning? If you didn't save, you'll have to repeat the entire million-hour text-to-speech story again. No real suspected danger is presented, and it's pretty bummy when I've got to redo that all over again. Well, pacing myself through an immersive and slow story, only to die and just skip everything, kinda reverse gears all of the great plans we just had earlier. The last guy also killing you if you take too long is pretty dumb. Look, I get the water's filling up, but I mean, come on. I might be bitching over nothing here, but still, running back to redo everything just takes all the atmosphere and enjoyability out of it for me, since there's no checkpoints. Freeing the villagers grants us a sealed verse since their god tree thingy holds a sealed verse. However, they're willing to hand it over to us as a savior of their village. Cool beans. One thing I've got to mention here is the combat / balancing of this game is shit. Okay, that might be a little bit too harsh, but if you're anything like me, that's sad, then you like fun gameplay. Okay, maybe not like that level of gameplay, but the gameplay's got to be at least enjoyable to make progression fun. That doesn't mean making the next Nioh 2, but all you need is enough. This game's combat is extremely basic without much combo potential. There simply isn't that many options for you to experiment, and even at the highest levels of combat, mixing in all your sealed verses to ladder your opponent like this is an ABA combo to unleash the most eloquent sequence in history. The potential to really go crazy just simply isn't there. This is literally the maximum extent of the combat I have seen. You might think that looks cool, but this combo is by Donguri. You know, the guy who also did Homie, if the GOAT of action games can only muster that, can you imagine what my gameplay looks like? Well, I mean, you don't need to imagine.
Or have you the skill to hunt one of those down?
I don't know. They look pretty strong.
There are some cooler stuff you can do, like using dashes to cancel your attacks mid-air so you can double slam your opponents, but the game doesn't really tell you much, so for the most part you're stuck to baby button mash mode. What doesn't help this is how insanely underpowered most of the sealed verses are. The weak base moveset can be really enhanced insanely with some special moves. Well, for the most part, they do pitiful damage. For the strongest 8 powers in the verse, you would expect something more than... But remember, combat does not equate to gameplay in Nier. For some other games, that may be the case when the majority of content is purely combat. But I think the devs must have noticed this, so they said, hey, let's switch up the genre. Seriously, 1 second you could be playing a 2D platformer, then a 3D hack and slash, then a Zelda puzzle, etc. It's stuff like this that really keeps the gameplay fresh and makes the combat much more bearable when the doses you're getting are much less frequent. I really love this idea and just wish they leaned into it harder. I mean, I get that it's a story game and nobody comes to story games for insane gameplay, but come on, it really does hurt the bulk of the game when, you know, the interactive medium's interactive parts kinda suck. Traversal pre-time skip, oh my god, is also so ass. I am tired of rolling around everywhere. There is no fast travel. You are literally just doing this for 5 minutes to go from place to place. It is not fun. After heading back from the forest to piss, we learn that Yona has a pen pal and a secret boyfriend. Cool. Wait, what? Yona's got a pen pal that she writes to, And apparently Houston's got a problem, so we head out to the manor in the southern plains. Heading in with Kaine, we find out that this place is fucked. The slow Resident Evil-like movement, the tone here is really offset due to this, and we decide to, I don't know, wait around in this room for a meal, I guess. Kaine is bored, so we try to explore the mansion, because, well, fuck else is there to do. As we go through, more changes happen throughout the manor, like guys screaming help, paintings on the wall changing to appear more demonic and stuff like that, in which we decide to immediately head back, because, fuck that, we are not playing this shit alone.
Hey.
Okay, I guess alone is what we're playing. As we continue through the manor, shades appear throughout the manor, which is pretty fucky. Why the hell are the shades in your house, bro? Eventually, we meet the head of the house. Emil, our new best bud.
You're a male, young, not even 20.
He later informs us that he technically can see, but it's just that if he removes the blindfold, anything he sees gets turned to stone. Think of Boa Hand-On Cox.
That's not actually how her ability works.
Close enough. So yeah, since the shades aren't good for Emil either, we decide to progress through the manor as he helps us freeze the shades along with us. And hot damn is he busted. Straight up, this guy is a one-shot machine to everything in the game that's not a boss. I don't understand why we don't ask him about the paintings getting more demonic for no reason, or missing Kaine, or sinks in his manor that spit the Hawaiian punch when you punch someone, but who cares? Bottom of the manor is infested with shades, and another fella Grimoire. What? Weiss too? No, actually. Whoever designed this bum was definitely using a Weiss midway through development because he sucks. Phase 1 has one attack where he summons pages that you can baby button mash him down for, and Phase 2 has literally one attack where he rolls around looking like a Roblox logo as you beat him up. Oh yeah, and kinda comes back by the forces of, I don't know, and the rolling Cheez-It here shatters into a million pages as Emil's butler tries to work out the cure for Emil's eyes and translates the work, which finally allows us to collect the final sealed verse. A pretty cool and odd zone for sure. Once we're about to leave, Kaine tells Emil a couple of things. Kaine was cursed as a child for being a shade, so she understands what it's like to be tormented from a young age for something that you cannot control. She lets Emil know of her shade side and lets out a bit of it, telling him that his eyes are not a sin and that he should own them. It's a really sweet moment that shows how considerate Kaine really is on the inside, which is something we almost never get to see from her.
How did you...
This arm is an accursed weapon. And there's a reason for your eyes, too.
Kaine.
But listen, if this shade should ever...
I saw you exchange some words with that Emil lad earlier. Hopefully it was nothing inappropriate for a young man of his age. Speak the truth, hussy.
Book? Shut up.
Yeah, calm down, Weiss.
That's it? We defeated all the major bosses in the world and got all the sealed verses. For anybody doing all quest lines or is trying to get to ending E, make sure you do all of the quest lines giving you weapons and breaking every box along the way. If you see a box in your way, break it, straight up. Yes, I will explain this later and it's really dumb. This is basically your last chance to knock out everything before shit really hits the fan in the story. Yona's pain once again gets worse, so we then need to head out to find some vapor moss near the southern gate, and once we get there, it's
What is... Emil!
Get out. Get out of the village.
a bazillion shades invade our village, and we need to take them out. It's a little trippy seeing shades attack the people we've known for the entire game up to this point, but it only adds to the chaos of the moment well. Devila tells us that she's gonna protect Yona while we fight it off. Then we enter the new boss, Jack of Hearts. This name makes zero sense, like every other boss name in the game, but who cares? Jack of Hearts is cool. Great progression through the level as he fights you from the southern gate entrance to the small bridge to the grassy area into the library, which makes this boss fight feel quite distinct. But as mid-fight, our ass. Mechanically simple, but you do a lot of super moves on him, I guess. Once we head into the library, a large group of shades shows up, and guys, the dialogue here is just...
You're gonna die today, shithog!
Shithog? Oh, come now, that's not even a real word.
Get out of here, Emil!
No! I won't abandon these people now. You told me once that my eyes had value, and that I shouldn't be ashamed of them. You told me that even a life like mine had purpose. So I won't just sit around and let you fight while I stay behind. I won't, Kaine. Let's take care of these shithogs.
I like it.
It's heartwarming seeing our main cast work so well in unison. Once you clear out the shades, the final scrap of the Jack of Hearts shows up. Tired of this, man. I whip it out and just use my Jack of Arts to bust all over him and win. Oh. So, the Shadow Lord, the main villain I guess, somehow has a Yona, and that stab really fucked us up?
Do you not remember, Grimoire Weiss? We too serve a higher purpose.
Enough lies.
Do you remember our ultimate goal? White and black shall fuse to one and set free shades to the world.
Fuse us? No, I cannot. I will not. I will never.
Grimoire Weiss is told by Grimoire Noir, the book at the start of the game, that he needs to fuse with Weiss to become one and set shades free to the world. Generic bad guy stuff. Why the Shadow Lord just couldn't go get Weiss in the sealed verses himself as he one-shot the main character? I don't know. I guess the Shadow Lord needed the main character to collect them all at once so he could rob them straight up like that. But once again, this is still a lot more logically dangerous than just collecting it yourself. Whatever the case may be, this recontextualization is an interesting one. But...
Weiss! You dumbass! Start making sense, you rotten book, or you're gonna be sorry! Maybe I'll rip your pages out one by one, or maybe I'll put you in the goddamn furnace! How can someone with such a big smart brain get hypnotized like a little bitch, huh? Oh, Shadow Lord, I love you, Shadow Lord! Come over here and give Weiss a big sloppy kiss, Shadow Lord! Now pull your head out of your goddamn ass and start fucking helping us!
As a reminder of Grimoire Weiss's recent experiences, he says no. With our reinvigorated twink soul, we stand up and ignore our wounds and fight off Grimoire Noir.
No matter how things unfold, it all returns to us. All of it.
Okay, after being aced in the hole, we are just cooked. Straight up. It's GG's. We can handle one donut, but not two. The Shadow Lord, proving his dominance, at least took one W, and that was Yona instead of Weiss. Kaine is stuck in her position because she needs to hold off Jack of Hearts down in the basement, and she has to stay there. We're stuck with two holes in our body, and Emil is pretty damaged from earlier with this fragile childlike body. The feeling of absolute defeat is a grim one. Our only option before Jack of Hearts kills us all is for Emil to freeze Kaine with his stone powers, which would freeze the basement door, along with Kaine sacrificing her.
No, I can't.
Kaine, stop! If you don't, it's gonna break down this fucking door! No more crying, okay? Grow strong. Weiss.
Spare me the goodbye, hussy. I imagine it will take more than this to kill you.
I doubt it.
time skip, baby. You already know what's about to happen. We got these new weapons. We got this new manly look. Me and Weiss are evolved. You already know. Our balls have gotten bigger.
Here's another poor victim.
You should get back.
Oh, God! Oh, get up, honey. Please. Get up!
Goddamn shades are even attacking the village now. This world is winding down. Between the shades and the black scrawl, there won't be anyone left soon.
So the world has only gotten more grim. Where we were during the time skip is pretty ambiguous, but it's definitely clear that we weren't in the village. One thing I think the pre-time skip did have a bit of trouble with was the relationship between Emil and the main character. We don't really have any meaningful connections. Kaine and Emil have the one sweet moment together. Weiss and Emil have some interactions. Us and Kaine had the whole arc. So I was delighted when the next arc was entirely Emil and Nier focused. The butler in Emil's manor has finally decoded the cure for Emil's condition, and we find out that there's a secret lab under Emil's mystery mansion that contains the secret for it. So as we head down, the goody two-shoes, oh, edgy badass that we are, the lab is one of the most interesting gameplay sections. It's very reminiscent of Silent Hill, according to ChatGPT, because I have zero idea how to describe this. The encounters are super dense, and it's like I'm playing Iron Keep from Dark Souls 2, but with more fun combat and in a better game. Utilizing the spear's, holding down X ability, it's really fun and turns the area into an absolute blender. As you progress through the cryptic and tight-knit area, more is revealed about Emil's past, really heightening the tension, increasing the mystique behind the level. I truly do enjoy the progression, and the wacky perspective switches really do help to enhance that feeling immensely. By making it to the end, we learn that Emil and his sister were experimented on as children to help combat the Legion. His sister was the ultimate weapon that went berserk, so to contain it, they made Emil's ability to freeze her. We finish Halua off, who's a good boss. On no sprint, yeah, it kinda just shoots magic at you and you shoot it back since you can't harm it with melee. You kinda do too much damage with magic by this point, so it isn't very fulfilling. But if there was a way to do less damage, it would make the fight better at level 1. Killing Halua causes an explosion with Emil inside of her, causing Emil to look pretty...
Good God.
Welcome back, Emil.
I can't stand to be with you when I look like this.
We're here for you, no matter what. Can you see my face?
You look just like I thought you would. You look really cool. I was terrified at first, but I have the magic I wanted. We should hurry.
I really like how this stuff, you know, it patches up all of my issues with Emil and Nierbro's relationship. With Emil at full power, we could finally unfreeze Kaine. But nope, Mr. Jackoff Arts is here to fight us with his top tier stroke game. Luckily, it's the same boss over again, and he gets bested. Now, that after we save the village from that terrible beast, I really like how Nier's most personal and deep thoughts occur here.
This is crap, and you know it.
It's okay. We can...
No one's sleeping outside. You and Kaine saved this village. And now they want to run you out?
I'm used to sleep.
But...
We'll see you Sorry about...
For the first time in my life, I hated Devila. In my life, I doubted Popola. Really, how can I blame Devila and Popola? In the end, I'm just as bad. Because I never once stopped to think about Kaine and Emil's situation myself.
It's an ounce of interest in his character that we have never seen before.
I think
Afterwards, Popola tells us that the Shadow Lord's castle is actually the Lost Shrine. Just past it, actually. So we head over there, but this time, the level has some more boxes and enemies in it. Nothing crazy. Gretel 2 is here because I guess he played dead last time when we fought him. It's kind of the same fight with one new move, but that doesn't matter. What matters here is that we shoot a dark lance at him and he deflects it into Kaine's chest. Ah shit, another ace in the hole. But seriously, I thought Kaine was gonna fucking die here, but she comes back to life due to her shade powers. I really don't like fake out deaths, because pouring your heart for a character for the game to slap you with that death can be an extremely powerful moment. Hell, Lelouch's death in Code Geass made the show go from a 7 to a 9. And then once again, you're baited by the form of media, backhanding you, say, no, haha, thanks for crying, bitch. I will lick up your tears because I enjoy it. Keep crying for me, ha. Okay, maybe it's not like that, but seriously, you get what I mean. I hate it. This being a one-time thing is fine. Kaine's shade side revives her, and we take her out, leading her to be in full condition once we bring her back. From this fight, we learn that we need 5 runes to access the Shadow Lord's castle, with the Lost Shrine giving us 1. Here we head off to the junk heap, and we learn of what happened to Jacob and Gideon during the time skip. Gideon unfairly blames the death of Jacob on Khalil and BP instead of his own actions. To be fair, there's almost no way he would have known, but still ultimately it is his fault. Talking to Gideon after time skip makes him seem off. Definitely has some hints of psychotic intentions for machines in particular.
That all I want to just, never mind then.
We go to retrieve some memory alloy for the guy, which feels a bit pointless, but oh well. The junk heap's second visit is even more suffocating than the original visit. The enemy variety, encounters, level design, etc. are probably the most interesting out of nearly every single area in the game. However, for some reason, I just cannot enjoy this area. I don't know what it is. Going off on a quick detour, we head up to the Forest of Myth. Yay! Oh, nobody likes this area. So apparently this time, their god tree has a new secret for us. We head in to play its stupid word game. This second visit is much worse than the last visit, because at least the last one could be reasonably deciphered if you were attentive, rewarding the player. This time, however, I feel as if the questions asked pertain to such tiny, insignificant details which just feel so dumb. So yeah, after basically playing a lifetime of guessing, we make it through this shitty zone and get to another rune fragment. Cool beans.
No, fuck this area.
Heading back to the junk heap, Gideon sends us a letter telling us that it's done, and it wants us to kill BP and the Shade which killed his brother. This boss is, well, one of the Nier Replicant bosses of all time. The boss is basically a normal P33 mini-boss reskin. He stomps the ground with lightning so you can hit him in the air, but basically repeat that for an entire fight, and that's it for phase 1. In phase 2, he has like 2 new attacks, and they're both fairly simple to avoid. Once it's finished, Gideon comes out and laments his unraveling mind of psychotic emotions.
Stupid machine!
Hey, come on.
I did it! Now that this goddamn thing is dead, I can forage wherever I want. Just wait, you goddamn freak! Now I can make all kinds of powerful weapons. Just leave it to me. Leave it all to me!
After beating BP and Khalil, we get another fragment. After this, we head to the Airy and find out that the Shades can now actually turn into humans, masking their appearance as a sign of their growing sentience. It's extremely hard to distinguish who is what. It's a trippy little moment. Kinda gets caught up with a little boy debating whether his sister is a Shade or not, and a fatal blow is dealt to her. I don't like Kaine constantly fake dying left and right, taking unnecessary punishment. And guess what? Right afterward, she's okay, due to the power of her shade powers, but sure. The villagers are sucked in together so we could fight Wendy. That is the stupidest fucking name. Anyways, it's pretty cool design wise, and its progression is nice as you are forced to move throughout the air to get openings off on its back. We beat up
Wendy's,
and Emil unleashes the ultimate weapon, killing Wendy, blowing up the entire area. Emil feels sad that he killed a bunch of innocent people, but Nierbro shrugs it off and tells him that it's okay, like it was necessary. The question of morality is ignored as they descend deeper for Yona. Afterwards, we learn that fast travel by boat is broken, so we head to the seafront to find the red bag man missing, aka the only guy who could solve our fast travel problems. In short, the most important character in the plot. Snooping around the town, the biggest clue we can get for him is the big ass ship that showed up at some point across the time skip. The ship is one of the coolest and most immersive areas of the game. And that soundtrack, once again, is slapping.
What's that? An apple. It's a bit bruised, but
I wager it was dropped by the... Perhaps he absconded to this ship to wait out the storm after yet another spirited debate with his wife.
let's...
Keeps you bolted to the area, feeling as if you're actually passing through it. The poor lighting and the occasional pop-ups of the little girl really help to create a sense of fear, yet curiosity that I'm still wondering how they nailed down. Fishing through the ship reveals a massive horde of dead bodies, revealing that a deeper danger is occurring here. As we meet up with the red bag man, along with the girl, who reveals that she is an insane shade, we head off to fight her. Louise, or the sea girl here, is A tier. Mechanically, probably the most interesting boss so far, and her design is the coolest out of everything. Those hard carry her to probably the best boss in the game up until this point. Nothing really much to describe. Other than that, it's just fun shit with some basing attacks. The problem here is, this shit is impossible. Actually, this is the second time in the story where we are straight up cooked.
My body won't... Damn it! Fuck!
With the red bag man distracting the boss for connective reasons, we finally get a good angle and one-shot her. It almost feels like a fluke that we beat a shade that's so large and strong. Attaining another rune from beating this boss, we finally head out to the Facade. Finally, connecting all the dots from the previous areas we visited pre-time skip, we're invited to his wedding by the prince, as kind of a reward for saving him pre-time skip. It's a very wholesome scene that I wish there was more of. I love how the... Alright, fuck the wolves, let's run it. One thing I found a little odd was how the Facade people are so odd with their rules. They say the king can't storm into the wolves' den so quickly and recklessly, yet 10 seconds later, they immediately agree to storm the wolves with the king. I interpreted this as them basically just being ready to die with the king for their loyalty to him, but it feels still really weird to me. Here, when we get into the wolves' den, we fight Rock. Here, the boss design drops to rock bottom because this guy legit has 2 attacks. It's whatever. Finally, getting a run from the guy, we're locked and loaded to face the Shadow Lord. Before him, I just want to state that the dialogue and character interactions as you go across the game are fucking gold, man. I haven't mentioned this, but Weiss, Kaine, and Emil's interactions as you go through their dialogue are so fantastic. It is some of the best I have ever seen in any form of art and really helps the atmosphere.
That's...
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
I am Grimoire Weiss, wielder of arcane...
Oh, hi, Vicey.
Now see here.
Weiss has been worried...
Really? Aw, thanks, Vicey.
It appears impudence is the fruit of this family tree.
He's been cheating this whole time? That's just terrible.
I don't think he means any harm. This kind of thing just happens with attractive guys.
That's awful. What if a man did that to you, Kaine?
He'd wake up a little less man than he used to be.
I changed my mind. Cheating is always wrong.
People use the same mask for life.
Still more hygienic than a bundle of paper stuck in the same shitty cover for life.
There is nothing more filthy than your underwear, hussy.
What, this? I don't wear the same one all the time. I have a different set for every day of the week. And every night, I scrub them with soap and water. So you can bet your ass I'm cleaner than you.
My word. It is my experience that youth is simply a synonym for stupidity.
Oh, come on. He just wants to protect his city. I think it's nice. Wait, weren't you the guardian of your village, Kaine?
Yeah, but don't talk to me.
Oh, is your mouth too full of sand to formulate a crude response?
Fuck off and die, book.
It makes you feel like you're really immersed in this world, seeing such authentic, yet seemingly realistic interactions to help immerse you in what you're playing. The stiff and rough vulgar tongue of Kaine, clashing with the straight, critical, and egotistical voice of Weiss, coupled with the more mature, calm main character, sort of as the mediator, chimed in with the innocent and optimistic voice of Emil, allows for such an amazing loop of interaction that I could never get tired of. Seriously, when doing these boring ass side quests and running through the world, these were the things that kept me laughing from my way to and back for the missions. Absolutely astronomical stuff that I wish I got more of. Not to say that there's not a lot of it, I just can never have enough. Once in the Shadow Lord's lair, we get straight up the most important information in the entire game. This bird informs the player of what's really happened to the world. It's extremely subtle, but once you have the full context of it, it is nuts. In short, the Black Scroll was taking over the world, so to survive, they separated their body from soul and placed themselves in a shell to survive. Humans are shades. You probably wouldn't get this in the moment, but once you take in the future information throughout the rest of the game, it's pretty obviously implied. Popola and Devila show up, coming in as an insane gut punch. They've been working for the Shadow Lord the entire time because, well, I don't think you're supposed to know this, but until Automata, they're androids who are programmed to protect humanity. Their motives here are to stop the main character from killing the Shadow Lord. The evidence of the real world the entire time was straight up for real. The modern world was crumbling as a result of the Black Scroll, so they built the world of Nier Replicant as a contingency to contain all of the shades. Replicants, or what we perceive as humans, are just meat suits made to contain shades' souls and fuse them into their bodies. However, the replicants gained sentience over time, causing the dilemma that we have today. The Shadow Lord, getting both grimoires, would allow him to eliminate all opposition, allowing all shades to fuse into replicant bodies, saving the world. But we need to save our sister and eliminate the shades from killing all the replicants in the world. Essentially, we have to question what is really right. A group of people that were here before us to have a greater purpose taking our lives, or us wiping them for the sake of our own survival and who we are as people. I really love the quote that the creator Yoko Taro had an inspiration of this story. You don't have to be evil to kill someone. You just have to think you are right. As long as what we're doing seems like it's fair and just, then we will go out of our way to kill innocent humans. En masse. Regardless, we came all this way for Yona and we can't give up now. After a brief scuffle, we head into the Shadow Lord's little lair where dances are turned into shades. Pretty cool. The next boss is Goose. Why the fuck a pig is named Goose? Because he looks like one, you idiot. The pig being basically unkillable, we run away from it. Getting that ass beat before, the king and his guards step in. Hell yeah! Our debts are repaid! Let's fucking go. They hold them off as we proceed to finish off Devila and Popola. It's an interesting fight, one using our sealed verses against us, while the other shoots balls around the other, as kind of an external overlapped gank is a fantastic idea. But once again, like basically everything in Nier Replicant, it isn't pushed to its maximum, unfortunately. Finishing them off causes Popola to want to shut this shit down. Shit, her ultimate purpose was for humanity, and to stop us, she goes out in a self-destructing explosion to wipe all of us out.
Got an idea! Goodbye, my friends.
Emil, you jackass!
And our last chance is to finish off the Shadow Lord right here, right now. First, we have to defeat Grimoire Rubrum too. He's an upgrade from his last fight for sure, but nothing groundbreaking. Finally, the Shadow Lord appears, and this is by far the most interesting boss thus far. A boss finally using the sealed verses against us in a creative way makes it feel like they actually went all out in a boss for once. I like how positioning affects your openings and it helps you a lot here. I like how he has attacks that actually require some directional rolling, and his design or soundtrack are also pretty damn dope. Once we finish off phase 1, Yona gets up, causing the both of us to stop. Finally, let's go home.
What the fuck?
Okay, so this scene is weird to interpret, and I'd imagine very confusing for someone to understand, but basically, Shade Human Yona from the beginning of the game is in current Replicant Yona's body, and sides with the Shadow Lord because Shade Yona's soul is connected to her older brother, not us. However, the Replicant Yona can speak to the Shade Yona, I assume similarly to how Kaine and Tyron work, which I'll get to later. Both Yonas are extremely soft-hearted and gentle people who don't want to do this war of consciousness, and Shade Yona just wants to be freed. She wants to give up her life for Replicant Yonas, considering that Shade Yona has always been a very generous person, as evidenced by the game's intro. It's honestly a phenomenal scene once you fully comprehend it, which I think the game could have done a bit better job explaining. Shade Yona sees herself as a vessel that's gone on too long for her brother's sake, and she leaves this world, ejecting herself out of Replicant Yona's body, essentially ending her own consciousness and life in the process. Shadowlord on D1 crash out mode, he gets more interesting mechanically and goes berserk against us. It's more interesting, but nothing crazy. Afterwards, we push Weiss past his limit magically, and we have a final dialogue with him.
No bother. It seems some headstrong idiot has decided to push me beyond my limits. I should have taken that job as a cookbook when I had the chance.
Weiss, I'm sorry.
Only joking. I hate cookbooks. But I fear this is where our journey ends. Don't let it go to your head now.
Weiss emotionally does play it down a bit, but ultimately it's who he is. Not like him to get all soft, and I like that about him, staying in character to the end. Shadowlord Phase 3 shoots an insane amount of projectiles at us, and without any options to really counter it, we need to find creative ways to get through it, like attacking the red orbs to gain openings to the wild amount of orbs. I really like how the weapon choice matters a lot here, like the spear being the best for this, due to its amount of hits, and I really wish more interactions were in the game like this. Afterwards, we finish him off, as Kaine seems to step away, personal shit for whatever reason, and we can finally reunite with Yona, the Shadowlord and Shade Yona meeting in the afterlife. And that's Nier Replicant. Rude, bitches! Here's 4 more endings we gotta go through. So, yeah. This game, for the few that don't know, has 5 main endings that you need to go through. It's not like an Undertale thing where you need to play the whole game back to front to make things work. They're more like routes that start from a certain point. Honestly, if you saw the story up to this point as this cool little fantasy RPG with a lot of touching moments here and there, then I don't think you're alone in that take, because I feel the same way. The revolutionary part of this story comes in Route B. Kaine's entire backstory is revealed to us in visual novel format. Man, fuck the Forest of Myth. Oh, wait, I'm not being quizzed on shitty, insignificant, minute details? Hell yeah! But seriously, this shit is tragic. Kaine from a young age was a half shade that got beat up by the other kids in her village. She wanted to die, but was saved and rescued by her grandma on multiple occasions. Her grandma's harsh tongue was a result of the harsh realities of the world, and how she needed to resort to extreme measures to require extreme language, and naturally Kaine adopted it as a result of her harsh life. They supported each other, and Kaine even drew a picture of her grandma. Yeah, it looked like shit to Kaine, but to her grandma, it was her favorite thing in the world. A present from Kaine, made from her heart and expressing herself, was something that she never had done before. It's quite sweet. Hook, unfortunately, comes in and kills Kaine's grandma, literally patty smashing her. Kaine tries to fight off Hook, but considering she doesn't even have any weapons or shade powers at the moment, she gets destroyed and her shade side wakes up. A fellow named Tyron kind of always talks in her head as he brings her back, severing her connection to the mortal realm as she gains her powers to revive herself, as she continues to keep fighting. Yet without real strength, she can't really do much. An invincible ant is ultimately just one of her grandma's final wishes for her was to live and to run away, which is something she finally listens to, and she luckily gets away in time with the shade side of her healing her with her immense power, causing to grow to this day. Emil's backstory is brought up, going into more detail about the tragic experiences he had to go through. The wild experiments existing for hundreds of years as a weapon. Stuff like this really hits home, and flipping the narrative like this makes you really see the characters in an entirely different light. Such fantastic tragic writing, paired along with such intensive atmosphere, rises this to become some of my favorite story stuff of all time. And it doesn't end there, no. Everything in this route gets a different side to them. Remember Gretel? Yeah, that shitter with one attack? After he failed to protect Weiss from us and Hansel's deaths, he came pretty damn depressed, but a shades talked to him over the time skip, bringing light back into his life, which is why there's ads in his fight, with some added dialogue that we can't understand. Does that mean the shades are good gameplay wise? Fuck no. But at least it does help the boss out a bit. P33 and Khalil have a character moment together, yet are unjustifiably slain despite doing 0 damage. Weiss, the girl in the Seafront, just wanted companionship and killed all of the people in the ship to become more human, yet in the process still turned out to be a monster. It really all helps to just make you feel like an asshole. Every step you take forward, marching in your gray boots towards the goal of Yona, results in you stepping on another creature's life, crumbling it even when they did nothing wrong. It's just a seriously fucked narrative, completely ass backwards, and is a gut punch. Seriously fucked is how they felt when they handled Rock's narrative, because damn, they sold the bag. I know, it's a hot take, but Rock's story discusses how the wolves were unjustifiably killed and only killed Fira for the killing of their fellow wolves. The problem is, hey, hold on, they attacked us first. To us, they literally attacked us first. They started the attempts to kill us first. Pretty damn motherfucking lame. If the game made it out so the wolves were just passive and we attacked them first, I'd understand it. But to me as the player, this just doesn't make sense. My question is, if this is the case, then why does every shade in the plot attack us first? Maybe it's like a cycle of violence thing, where one guy attacks who, but it's been pretty thoroughly established that shades attack and kill innocent people like in the halfway point of the game. If this is the case, then yeah, it makes sense, and our main character makes no effort or rationale to argue that, even though in multiple side quests, it builds up the idea that shades are normal due to the second half. I get this for the sake of the story, but we saw none of this in the first half of the game. I guess shades are pretty rare. I don't know, I can excuse this. Why the fuck is Emil coming back? No, haha, thanks for crying, bitch. I will lick up your tears because I enjoy it. Haha. With a new ending cutscene, I think that Route B was a meaningful addition to the story. Yes, it's a bit annoying having to retraverse everything at times, but for the most part, I think it's worth it. Let's talk about the dog shit that is Ending C. What were they thinking? Okay, so to access Route C, we need to collect all weapons in the game. Yeah, all optional side quests, all the boxes you need to break. That is all a necessity to progress the story. Why is forcing mid as fuck optional side content required for progressing the main game? And Route C, your reward for collecting all the weapons. Just Route B with 2 cutscenes. The fuck? Luckily, well, I had cheat engine, so I just skipped to the only part that matters, the ending, which allows you to fight Super Shade Kaine. Kaine 3 is mechanically probably the most interesting boss up until this point, excluding the Shadow Lord. I like how jumping above attacks is really rewarded here. And once we get to the end, Kaine is basically on her deathbed as we get to make a deal. Here, Tyrion can speak to us. How a shade inside Kaine is able to speak to the main character, and how we can talk back, I have zero idea. But basically, fella strikes a deal. You can either kill Kaine to put her in peace after all the bullshit she's been through, or you could end your own life to save her life and free her from Tyrion forever. Ending C, dog shit, is where you kill her, and it's a sweet scene. It's the most sensible one, but we need to get to ending E, so you would normally replay the entire back half of the game again, but instead we use cheats because that level of tedium is unenjoyable and a massive waste of time. So we jump to ending D immediately. Here we will kill ourselves and Kaine comes back. I don't particularly know why the main character would sacrifice himself for Kaine, so I think it would hurt Yona a lot if he left, and she only had Kaine left to live for, but it doesn't hurt Yona. Why? Because he's gone? Like, gone? No thank you? Yeah, apparently him disappearing wipes him from the verse, and nobody remembers his ass. I don't think there's an explanation for this, but that's not it, folks. Let's go replay the first 20% because we need to stretch out this game even more. Yeah! Stop it. Without cheat engine, the amount of wasted time here would drive me insane, and I'd probably have dropped it by now. Doing hours of the same unfun gameplay. I don't have a problem with replaying a story, dude, but when I'm forced to do it to get to new content when E was an intended aspect of the game, it's really just not it for me. I kind of get what they were going for, as this would be a special off-the-side piece of content, but it just doesn't gel with me entirely as a concept. We wake up in Kaine's perspective, as she's still remembering stuff about Nier, but she can't remember his name. Also, playing as Kaine, hot damn, her ass is so fun to play. Nier bro gets washed. I don't know, something about her combat is just so damn smooth and flowy, despite Nier bro having 10x the options. My opinion on this ending is, I'm gonna get canceled for this, but it's the ultimate fan fiction.
Boo this man!
I know everybody loves it and considers it the peak of the game, but I can't love this ending, and I'm gonna explain why. What I mean by the ultimate fan fiction is that it's great for seeing all the characters one last time for a final emotional pool, but it doesn't really make much sense, or at least doesn't have much explaining its existence. Kaine basically goes into a tree holding robots / administrators that apparently hold memories? How a machine is containing cognitive constructs of a collective people, your guess is as good as mine. And why they're actively helping Kaine and giving her a chance to get it back, I also have no idea. They give us a boss, and we clear shit out, and apparently they have the ability to replicate Kaine's strength at max power. Once being overwhelmed, Emil randomly shows up with 4 arms? What? Yep, he's here now, out to help us. I guess he stapled himself back together in the time he was gone. The administrators keep informing us on how Kaine can get our memories back as we progress through the copied city? We enter the copied city from Nier Automata basically, and it has a giant world which looks really cool. The Shadow Lord's fight is replicated with weird Nier Automata data bits. I love how the clear and smooth models of Replicate clash with the glitchy and trippy visuals of Automata. The administrators, as a final test, give Kaine her worst memory. Hook comes back. He's slightly upgraded, but it isn't anything too crazy. But load that up with the villagers from the area to attack her, calling her names, defeating her, and it's just a personal hell for her. It's genuinely so bleak. We get whisked back to visual novel mode, and Kaine is further mentally tortured in the visual novel. I'm fine with suffering happening as a character if they evolve from said point, but this doesn't really feel like it goes anywhere. Weiss shows up, how he came back after being wiped from existence, I don't know, but he's here to help us in physical form. With his power in the mill, we fight back with her theme playing at max power, overpowering Hook and the administrators. The interactions she has with Weiss here are more great stuff. With all of the power of the sealed verses, Kaine turns out on top, coming out with this fantastic final monologue from her to cap off the game. How a lunar tear pops up, we get our memories back? I don't know. Regardless, it's a beautiful scene. But I just can't fully enjoy this moment, knowing that basically everything that happened up to this point has had like 0 explanations and shit is just happening. It makes me feel like the things in the story are being whipped up here to pull at your heartstrings in kind of a last minute way for you to see the characters one last time. I'm fine with this, but I really would have preferred a coherent arc that really covers its tracks over this and has reasons for everything happening. I'm aware this will be an unpopular opinion, but I don't know, I just can't help the way I feel. I've never been so oddly conflicted when playing a video game. On one hand, the story is fantastic, with such a snug and fit atmosphere, with the greatest and most complimentary soundtrack of all time, having fatally poor gameplay. Sometimes it feels like this was made to be an anime or a visual novel, you know? Some medium that has much less interactiveness, because all of the worst parts about this game come from the interactive elements. There's a lot of great gameplay stuff conceptually here, but without proper utilization of these concepts, it rounds to average gameplay at times. I like the idea of replaying a playthrough, but with everything you know completely fucked, with such little content established like Route C, I have to question why it wouldn't be added to stuff like Route B. Choice-based text adventures for the attentive players are nice, but really? Random details? Come on now. In the most analogous way I could put this, it's like a top tier steak, but they topped it with a side of vomit. It's not that hard of a fix either. Just like how it's not that hard of a fix to replace vomit with the fries you ordered. I can't honestly recommend this game to other people as much as it pains me and twists my nipples to tell you that I really want to say otherwise. So much about this game makes it an insanely compelling and enjoyable game with some of the most hilarious and tongue-in-cheek dialogue I've ever seen. But really, that tongue-in-cheek are going to be tasting 80% steak and 20% vomit along the way through. There are just too many poor gameplay decisions to make me recommend this to you as a game you should be playing. If the game just refined on its poor combat, enemies, boss design, and fully utilized some of the more unique aspects of the gameplay like the 2D bullet hell, or let me play with some more ass so I could stop playing with some more ass, or maybe made its areas more interesting, then maybe this game could be a 10.